Hello, welcome to my channel. It is a snowy, wintry day in Utah. It is Wednesday, December 15th, 2021. And since it's December, I'm wearing my Christmas sweater that I cross-stitched. Oh gosh, now I can't think of the name of the pattern. If you want, go back to video number 7. That's where I started this sweater project. And then in video number 42 is where I finished the sweater project. So that will give you all the details and information and stuff if you're interested. Okay, I have 7 finishes since the last time I showed you like regular update. And I'll show you my Christmas stitching. I have my Christmas stitching out here so you can see it. I'll do a video at the end where I show everything closer on the wall. And I'll show you my current whips that I'm stitching on, works in progress, things I've worked on, and what I'm working on this month for Christmas stitching. So let's start with finishes. Oh, and I have some Stitchy kindness and some haul. And I'll talk about my plans at near the end. Okay, so you may remember from my October video that I was working on these. I was just going to do these 3. This was a gift from my friend Lonnie. And I finished them. I'm going to make them into little, like ornament or pillows. I'm going to make them into little pillows. I used the called for threads on 18 count Silver Moon Aida. It's a really light gray. Those were so fun. And I finished Autumn by the Cricut Collection. I'll be starting December tomorrow. I'll show you that in a minute. These are project cards that I have in every project by S. Ward Designs on Etsy. And she just sent me a whole bunch of new ones for 2022. How exciting! And that was so nice of her. She has 5-year ones. She has 3-year ones. This one's a 3-year one. She has ones like this where you mark off the day that you worked on it. These are all the days that I worked on Autumn. I started it and finished it in 2021. I just think it's fun to look and see like your frequency of working on it, how many days it took. You can also record all the information at the top. And then new this year, I believe, she has a project yearly tracker card. Goes on both sides, where you can write down all of your projects and then check the months that you worked on them, or that you're planning on working on them, maybe, however you want to do it. I just thought that was such an amazing idea. She even has a place for you to make your own key down here in case you're making symbols on it as you go. Like this was a start, this was a finish, this was my daily 30, whatever. I thought that was so cool. She also has 5-year project cards for your great big projects. And then she also has some where you mark off your hundreds of stitches as you go instead of days, if you're just wanting to track how many stitches it was and not what day you worked on it. And she probably has a couple other things on there too. On her Etsy store, you should just check and see. They're fabulous. Thank you for sending those. She sent some too for my daughter Marie too. Marie is Bossy Daughter, if you've watched my older videos, and she has her own Flosstube channel now called Stitchy Marie. And I have, Marie, I have your project cards over here that she sent us. I will get them to you as soon as I see you. Or maybe I'll just keep them. No, just kidding. Oh, after all that, I didn't show you Autumn. This is a 32 count cream colored linen. I used the called for colors. Yes, I definitely had a, didn't start it, wasn't thinking about it when I started it, ran into a spacing issue over here, but the way I'm going to finish it, it won't matter. It'll be plenty of room. 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. That one was fun. All right, next I participated in Friendstitch. I think that was in September. And this was it was an online Zoom retreat, and this was the retreat exclusive pattern that we received, and a kit. We received a kit with everything to do it. I made a couple changes. I changed this to another house that I added from another pattern. And I changed this bird to a tree. But I did it with the kit, the floss that came in the kit, and the kit fabric, which was 32 count vintage country mocha. And that one's 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. And then I finished The Magic Tree by Barbara Anna Designs. This was a kit I got through Nitka, N-I-T-K-A, off her website, nitka.ru, because she's in Russia. It came in a tube. I bought the pack that has the magic tree and the Christmas tree that's similar, but it's Christmas in the same pack. And it comes kitted with the fabric and floss and everything. So I finished this one. I used the kit floss and the kit fabric. I believe it's 32 count. It was so fun. I loved the colors. I loved the design. I loved the animals, all the little animals on it, those yellow houses, the mushrooms, those flowers. It was just a joy to work on. This one was kind of a stitch along with Marie, a bossy daughter, and my friend Kim. So that was fun. And I went to Stitch West in October, a retreat put on by Snug Harbor Crafts, Deb and Kath. Their channel is Snug Harbor Crafts. And the designer there, the feature designer, I don't know, was Little Stitch Girl. And she did this retreat exclusive design for us to stitch and gave us the pattern. It's called Stitching with Friends. I started mine at the retreat on some fabric I bought at the retreat from Rika, House of Stitch and Stash. She was there selling some fabric. She asked me to name it, so I named it Barely Periwinkle. This is 40 count. It's a really light periwinkle color. And then I was just using some threads that I had with me that I pulled out of other projects that I had. I will list which threads I used in the description box below. That was a lot of fun to stitch on. And then I finished Star Village by Thistles. It is on 46 count natural with the called for threads, one strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. Loved this one. It was so fun. Love those sheep, their little curly pattern. I love that orange and yellow house and how the floss variegated on that one. I love those trees. It was just, I don't know if you can see on the pathway, it's checkerboard. It was just a fun, fun project to work on. Gorgeous pattern. And I finished the Blue Flower Huckleberry Farm. Mine is on 40 count Elegance by Silk Weaver that I ran through the washing machine a couple times to lighten it up, not knowing what would happen to it, but I liked how it turned out. Another just beautiful, beautiful pattern that was so fun to stitch and work on. I did this as a stitch along with my friend Lonnie. I didn't have all the called for colors, so I pulled some out of my stash that I thought were similar. And I believe I changed some of the colors of the huckleberries to be more of a purple color. Get that hummingbird. And I think the color of the house, I lightened up the yellow a little bit on the color of the house as well. I picked a different color that was a little bit lighter. Okay, I think that's the end of the finishes. Let's move on to works in progress. In October, I was working on Praiseworthy Stitches Bump Into Night. I like to work on this one in the fall. Mine is on 40 count Creek Stone by Silk Weaver. I showed it to you in October, I believe, and I got a little more done over here on the house. Did some fence, part of the tree, filled in this window. I told you last time I showed it that it says from Ghosties and Ghoulies on the top, and I couldn't figure out where that was from. And I heard Leota, Madame Leota in the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland say something similar and was thinking maybe that's where it came from. But several viewers helped me out and let me know that it is a poem, an old poem. And they quoted the whole poem in the comments from that video if you want to go look it up. I can't remember right now what the name of the poem was, but it was an awesome, creepy poem. And yes, I'm definitely going to stitch those words on now that I know what they mean and where it comes from. You can see it on here across the top. It says, from Ghosties and Ghoulies. I've been working hard on Peaceable Kingdom by Catherine Theron. It was a class piece that I took when she came and taught in Salt Lake City. So it was a kit with fabric and floss and everything included. I've been working on this over one section right there. Was able to get all of this grass filled in, this stuff up here. It's over one full cross in that section. It's just taking a while. I think as soon as I finish that section, I can easily finish the rest of this. It won't take so long. I'll unroll it so you can take. I was really hoping to have this done by the end of the year. It's still my goal. And I only have a day and a half more of work before I hit my winter break. So I have 2 weeks off. Till January 3rd is when I have to be back. So, you know, it's possible. But I'm going to tell you about a whole bunch of other things that I also am hoping to finish by the end of the year. So we'll see. Trying to remember which way this rolls. And I have, if you watched my whip parade 2 videos ago, you know that I have 3 other pieces started by her that I took a class from her for. So when I finish this one, I'll just do one at a time until I get them done. So when this one's done, I will pull the next one out and start working on that one. I think it'll be Bless This House. I can't remember which one. Okay, and since October, I actually worked on all 4 of my full coverage pieces. I'll get back to those again in the new year. In my January video when I talk about plans, I'll go more into what I'll make a video between Christmas and New Year's and talk about my plans for next year. I'll go more into that. This is a Heaven and Earth design called a stitching shelf. Or sometimes it's called a stitcher's shelf. I have the version that does not have the medallion in the middle that says a stitch in time. Mine is the regular sized version. It's not the mini, it's not the max color, it's just the normal one. Oh, and I actually had to move the Q-snaps. That was an event all by itself that I actually had enough done. I had to move the Q-snaps. This is the top part. And then I decided I wanted to move down next and go all the way down to the bottom of the next shelf, which is summer. The top shelf is spring, the next shelf down is summer. So you can see that I moved all the way down to the green and I've started into the oranges of the autumn shelf. So I'll quit right there and then move across. This is a parking bobbin. My daughter-in-law made it. You'll see them on all of my full coverage pieces. I'll show you on a different one. This one's hard to hold. Her Etsy store is SunshineMamasDesigns. She has ones with several different buttons on the front, seasonal buttons. It has a magnet glued to it and a magnet on the back so that you can, and it pops open. I'll show you here in a minute. So you can wrap your threads around it and keep them up out of your way if you're using the parking method like this. I love them. But she wanted to let you know that she's having technical difficulties with they have a new tax document requirement. And she has the documents and she's trying to upload them, but she can't get them to upload correctly. So they've frozen her account. So give her, if it's not open right now, give her a week maybe, and then it will be open. And she's working on that to get that fixed so that her store will be functional. She also has Needleminders. This is Four Seasons. Also, I have an Earth design, the Four Seasons. And this is the mini version. This is not the regular version. This is the mini version. So it's still the whole picture, but it's much smaller. It'll be about 11 by 11 inches when it's done, which does make it a lot more pixelated, which makes it a lot of confetti stitching, but a smaller piece overall. I have this part done, and I've come back around and I'm working on this part now. Also had to move the key snap on this one. That was exciting. You can see where I'm working over here. I have hit the gazebo right there. I'm so excited. And here, I'll show you on this ladybug parking bobbin. It pops open like this, and then you can roll the threads up in there and then pop it back shut again, and then magnet it to your stitching. Put it wherever you want to keep it out of the way. Oh, all of my full coverage designs, almost all of them, are on 25 count even weave, Lugana even weave. One strand of thread over one fabric thread full cross. This one is Disneyland. I got it on Etsy. This one is from Neni Designs, N-E-N-I. But I have seen it from several different people on Etsy. Mine is the one, there's also a couple different versions. Mine is the one that has about 50 colors. And this is the one that's on a different count. It's on these, it goes this way. Before I take these off, I'll tell you about them. These are cable ties that you can get on Amazon. They are, I like the extra strong ones. I got some that weren't quite, the magnets weren't quite as strong and they didn't hold as well for me. So make sure you get the extra strong ones. And they're meant to keep your, the cables to your computers and electronics and stuff so you can organize them, you know, wrap this around your cables and then they'll magnet together. But it also works really well to hold all of this extra fabric out of my way when I have a great big piece. Got the castle, the Matterhorn, Dumbo's flying in the sky. This is Thunder Mountain Railroad. It's a Small World. There's a mermaid in the lagoon, and we're just starting the front of a submarine. And then this is the top of Space Mountain, I believe. This one is on 40 count dwarf by Picture This Plus. So it is one strand of floss over two fabric threads, full cross. It's my only full coverage that's not on 25 count even weave. Okay. This one, nope, that's not the picture. Yeah, where's the picture? Here it is. Autumn Town by Autumn Lane Stitchery. It is on green fabric. You can see the model also has been stitched on green fabric, and all the blue sky is stitches, but everywhere else where there's this light green grass is not stitched. That's the color of the fabric. I just thought that was so cool. What a cool idea. I'm using the called for colors. Except I had to change just a couple of them. It mostly calls for DMC, and then it has a couple of overdyes in it, and some overdyed silks and some overdyed cotton. And this one was supposed to be a gassed color that I couldn't find. I can't remember now what it is. So I substituted Cupid, Classic Colorworks Cupid, out of my stash because it was a very similar color. This is the called for color. It's gentle. It's Gloriana Apricot Grove, and it's the most beautiful colors in there. Some orange, some green, some yellow. It is such a beautiful overdyed silk. It's perfect for this pattern. These orange trees were, I believe, $7.40 is what they're charted for, and I just thought it would be more fun to have a variegated color in there, so I'm using Marmalade. Not Weeks. I think it's Gentle Arts Marmalade, not Weeks Dye Works. They both have a marmalade. One's a kind of a brown orange, and then this one's a very bright orange. And everything else is the called for colors. I'm working a little bit at a time filling in this blue sky. I'll do a little bit of sky and then I'll come down here and work, and then I'll do some more sky. This is 40 count Lakeside Pear. 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. This right here is the halfway point, so I'm almost halfway done. And I always get to the end of the year and I'm always trying to have either the same amount of whips as I started the year with, and I'd really like to have at least 1 or 2 less than what I started with. But I'm quite comfortable having about 25 to 30 whips. That's usually where I sit, and that doesn't stress me out. I mean, everyone's number of what stresses them out is different. So whatever your number is, that's fine. Do whatever makes you happy. But for me, I'm happy having about 25, 30 whips. I'd like to have it. I think I'd be happier if it was in the lower 20s. Anyway, it doesn't bother me too much. So by the end of the year, for some reason, end of year, I'm always trying to finish as many as possible. How many of these could I get off my whip list so that I can start new fun stuff, right? And after finishing all of those 7 that I already showed you, those were all the ones that were close to a finish. So then I actually sat down and looked at all my whips and did the math on all of them to figure out exactly how many stitches were left in all of them. So I could figure out which ones were the closest to being finished that I should focus on to finish by the end of the year. Autumn Town is the next smallest piece that has the least amount of stitches left, and it's the smallest piece. So it has the least amount of stitches left to stitch on. So I really want to get this one done by the end of the year. That will be when I'm focusing on between now and the end of the month to see if I can finish that one. This is Shine On. This is a Bonnie and Camille quilt book called The Quilt Bee. And this is a quilt, but they also made a cross stitch that looks like the quilt. So this whole book is quilt pattern instructions until you get to the very back where they have this cross stitch pattern. This is the model that they made cross stitched. They used Cosmo thread. You can buy this book and the Cosmo thread pack from, I'm sure you can buy it from several different places. I got mine from the Fat Quarter Shop. They're the ones that have put it together into a floss pack if you want to use that. And the Cosmo thread is gorgeous. I've stitched with it a little bit. It is beautiful thread. I just happened, when I started this last January, I just happened to want to try out some sulky threads that I got for Christmas. So I converted it to sulky threads, S-U-L-K-Y, 12 weight. Sulky also makes sewing machine thread that you can see at Joann's and Hobby Lobby. But what people stitch with is the heavier weight, 12 weight. It's kind of like a pearl cotton. It's about the same thickness as 2 strands of DMC. So, I mean, I would have normally used the Cosmo threads. They're gorgeous, and I love these colors, but I just really wanted to try out the sulky thread. So I converted mine to sulky thread. And it's close to a finish. It will definitely be done by the end of the year. I don't think that pattern is available anywhere else to get unless you buy the quilt book. This is 18 count white Aida. Okay, let's show you that again. The cross stitch pattern does not have a border. Where's the picture? And it just fell on the floor. But when they framed the model, they put this little backing behind it that's red and white striped fabric. It's red and white striped fabric wrapped around a board that they're using kind of as the edging around it. It's not stitched. And I thought that looked so cool that I decided I wanted that to be part of the stitched pattern. So I just made up a very simple red stripes. You can see it right there, exactly what the stitches, what the pattern is, right there. I started doing red and white and then realized that you can't see the white at all on the white fabric. So why was I going to all that work? So now I'm just going to do the red stripes. This is the bottom of the piece. I just need to fill across over to here and then I'll be finished. It is just a beautiful quilt and a beautiful cross stitch. I love it. It's been fun to work on this year. I've had it at work. I work on it during my half-an-hour lunch. I walk down to the library and sit and stitch on it. Oh, all the sulky threads fell out of it. This is a little notions pouch that the brass button made for me. Came with one of my brass button project bags. I'm using it to hold all of these sulky spools. I got mine from sulky.com. That is their American in the United States location. And it shipped straight from there. Got to me in like 10 days, something like that. I ordered these a year and a half ago. You can also buy some kits, some sulky 12 weight kits with several colors put together on Amazon. And sulky comes in these petite spools. It also comes in a little bit bigger king spool, which is the size of the thread that you put on a sewing machine, that kind of a spool. And then also comes in jumbo cones. This is Hello from Liz Matthews. Sorry, Liz. I couldn't, for the life of me, couldn't think of your name all of a sudden, the name of your company. My Home in the Garden. This is a stitch along with several friends. We decided to do it when we were together at StitchCon, but we didn't actually start it until we were at Stitch West in October. Ignore the lines. We were dividing it up into 12 months. We're going to do a section each month. It is just a gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. I'm using the Called For Gloriana silks. Mine is on 40 count 46 count antique white linen. And I have the first 2 sections done, and now it's time to start on the 3rd section, which will bring us to the corner on this side. The colors are just so beautiful. Besides the fact that the design is just gorgeous, Liz. Just beautiful. This is my 12 Days of Christmas project, also by Hello from Liz Matthews. First, there we go. I'm going to do them all on one piece of fabric. I started with the first day of Christmas. Liz has 5 out so far. I'm using the NPI silks that are listed on the pattern. She has a DMC conversion as well as the NPI silks. I'm going to need something behind this. I am almost done with the first day of Christmas. This is, did I say that already? This is 46 count antique white linen as well. Another just gorgeous, gorgeous designs. And that's been really fun to work on during December, but I think I'll be working on this one all year round. This is The New Normal by Long Dog Samplers. I am stitching this one with sulky threads as well. This is a small project bag that Victoria's Crafty Room, she has a fun Flosstube, also makes gorgeous bags made for me. And I keep these are the spool sizes of the sulky threads. These are the colors that I chose to do it with. Oh dear, the needle was loose. This is what I have so far. So enjoying this piece. I've been working over here. This is 40 count linen. I really like the sulky 12 weight. I think it looks great on 32 count. I love it on 36 count. I love the coverage better on 36 count or 40 count. Either one. This is a very loose weave. It's not an over dyed because it's just antique white. I had somebody tell me that they tried it on a 40 count over dyed fabric and they felt like it was too squishy. I haven't noticed the stitches are squishy at all on this 40 count, but this is a true 40 count. But I do love it. I think my favorite is 36 count for the sulky weight thread. This was another one of the top, like I figured out which 4 or 5 projects were the closest to being finished. And this was one of them. Believe it or not, that was, I mean, I still have over half of it to go, but it was still one of the closest to being finished. So it probably won't get finished by the end of the month or during my break. I'll keep working on everything through January 3rd when I have to be back to work. but it will be fun to try. It'll be fun to work on. I'm enjoying working on it. Oh, my nose is so runny today, sorry. This is Long Dog Samplers Day and Night. This is also one of the top 4 or 5 closest to a finish. I know you're all, they're just like, what? That can't be. I finished up all the easy ones. Now I have ones that aren't so close to a finish, but also be focusing on this one this month and during my break. Mine is on 40 count Valor. Yes, Picture This Plus Valor. With the called for DMC threads, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads, full cross. Oh, this is going to be awkward to hold. There we go. The bottom is right here. And I think this is about 2/3 of the way over. So it's not as crazy as it sounds. I know, you're all saying, no, it's crazy. She's crazy. But I'm having fun. This is another one that made it into the top 5 for almost finished. Okay, not almost finished. Closer, the closest to a finish out of all my whips. Die Farben des Wassers. I know I said that with a terrible accent. By Der Werkstatt für Historische Stickmuster. Translates to the colors of water. Love all of their patterns. So gorgeous. You can get it on their website. They are German, their German website. They also have several of their patterns available inside of the Silk app. The Silk app is similar to Pattern Keeper, but you purchase the patterns that you want to work on in it inside the app. And they also have some free ones in there. There's a similar pattern to this one that's red and Christmassy that is free inside the Silk app. Oh, that's not going to work. Let's find a white piece of paper to put back there. There we go. This is 46 count antique white linen with the called for Soie d'Alger Avera Soie silks. And it is just gorgeous. I'm working on filling in the dark green right here. It's 6 across. I've made it to the edge. I've done 2 rows. There are 4 more rows to go. Gorgeous, gorgeous piece. So I will also be focusing on this in December. This is Autumn by Heaven and Earth Designs. I call it Autumn Cat. Mine is on 25 count Moss Lugana. 1/1 full cross. 1 strand of floss over 1 fabric thread. Full cross. The colors are just so gorgeous. This is the middle of the cat's back. I'm working down. It has 48 colors. which is a little too much for me to put in. I usually use floss away bags on a ring. That's how I like to keep my floss. Let me get them straightened out here. Okay. And I have them on a ring. I bought these rings on Amazon. It's called a wire key ring. They screw shut. But once you get up to 40 to 50 colors, that's a lot of colors to have on a ring. So at that point, I will usually put them, bobbinate them and put them in a small bobbin box. Or if there's 90 or 100 colors, I'll put it in a large bobbin box. But the bobbin box is chunky, heavy. It goes in my project bag. That makes the project bag chunky and heavy. So I was looking on Etsy. I actually saw one of these at Stitch West. On Etsy, her store is Fireweed Lane, and she has these bobbin holders. And it's plastic sleeves sewed so that the bobbins will stick in there. This pattern has 48 colors. This holds 45 bobbins, so you can see where I have 3 just stuck up here in the top. She had some on her Etsy store that have a clear plastic pocket on the back as well. And maybe I'll just sew one on the back right here so I can put these extras back there. But this fits in my project bag much nicer than a plastic floss box. So I'm trying it out to see how I like it. So far, I love it. She has, here's her business card, Fireweed Lane. I purchased several from her. She has several different sizes. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 4. This is 24 size. So this would hold 24 bobbins. So I was thinking if it was a really, you know, if it had like 60 colors, I could do 45 in here and then another 24 in here and just keep them together in my project bag. Or if it's a smaller piece and it only has 24 colors or less, you could just use one of them. Or if it was a huge piece, like a Heaven and Earth design that usually has 89 colors, then I could use 2 45s and stack them on top of each other in my project bag. So I'm going to try that. See how I like it. I think I'm going to love it. Fireweed Lane. I've got to get all this back in the project bag. I'm trying not to make as big of a mess as I made last time. And here it is in my project bag with the Q-snaps and the pattern and everything. This one, oh gosh, I've forgotten your name. It's not a Studio 88. I'll think of it in a minute, this bag. I'll put it in the description box below. Oh, where's the picture? Praiseworthy Stitches, Churchyard Christmas. I usually only work on this at Christmas time, so I've been working on it this month and some last month. Mine is on the called for 32 count Mirage by Picture This Plus. And I'm using all the called for colors. You can see the very end of the word world right here. There will be a lot of snow stitching in this piece. The people, they're skating on a pond up here, so that part won't be stitched with the white, but the rest of it will have the white snow. I think it called for something like 10 skeins of snowflake color. I love that camel. There's an escaped camel that's wandering off from the nativity. You can see in the middle there, there's a nativity. So I'll be working on that for the rest of the month. I do kind of have a rotation that I work on all these pieces every week, but I do have ones that I work on certain days. If you go back to video, there's a video where I show the picture, the thumbnail is me holding up a poster board with writing on it. That's where I kind of explain my rotation if you're interested. And then I will also go over my rotation when I do plans in my video between Christmas and New Year's. This is Kingdom of Books by a Russian company that translates to make it with your own hands. It's a kit that I bought from mybobbin.com in Russia. I'm using the kit floss, but I'm not using the kit fabric. I'm using an 18 count over-dyed Aida. My friend Sharon and I are trying to do a half a book a month. This was November, this bottom half is December, so I need to get caught up on that last book. That one is always fun to work on. I think it will take us, if we do keep up with a half a book a month, I think it will take us 3 years to finish. Okay. I think that's all the works in progress. I did, oh, did I bring that down here? I do keep track of what I stitch on every day in the Needle Work Press Book of Days calendar. It's just a flat desktop type, booklet type. It's got a month at a time. I do like to put stickers in it, just like Brenda and Laura, Brenda the Serial Starter. I love watching them. This is December. And I just write down every day what I worked on that day. Sometimes when I'm really have my life all together, I actually put how long I worked on each piece. But I try to at least put what I worked on every day. And then if I forgot to mark one of my project cards, I can go back and look and see what it was I worked on. I do also do, I know I never talk about it, but I also do WhipGo. This is my WhipGo board for this year. Everything that's gray I was able to accomplish. These white ones I did not, were goals that I did not accomplish this year. I will do WhipGo again next year, but I will also talk about that in my video between December and January. Between Christmas and New Year's. That's between December and January, right? So this is the new Book of Days for 2022. I liked, that worked well for me to keep track that way, so I will keep doing that in 2022. I had some stitchy kindness. My friend Colette, her Flosstube channel is The Highway Stitcher, gave me this beautiful Blackberry Lane design. That's a gingerbread house ornament. And there's a front and a back. See how this, you can see the front of the elf right here, and here you can see the back of him up there. So it's the front and the back of the house. It's the cutest pattern. Blackberry Lane is the same ones that did this ornament and this ornament. I love their patterns. And she gave me the stuff to go with it and a beautiful needle slide. Thank you, Colette. My friend Jordan, Jordys Handmade project bags on Etsy, and her friend Amy gave us this beautiful card and this Needleminder. Look how cute that tree is. I can't wait to put that on a project. What else do I have sitting over here that I've forgotten to tell you about? Uh-oh, there's a floss bobbin on the floor. I wonder what it came out of. Tomorrow, my friends Sharon and Kim and I decided to start Cricut Collection Winter. I finished spring and autumn now. I have winter, and then I'll do summer sometime this year in the spring or summer. We saw it at Shepherd's Bush on the wall, and they converted some of the colors to some overdyed colors, the colors that are used in these great big letters, big lots of where you can see a lot of the color in the big letters. They converted those colors to an overdyed. So we got the list from them when we bought a pattern of it there from them in Ogden, because it's their conversion. And I'll be doing mine on 32 count Country French Rain, because the rest of mine are on 32 count, so I need them all to match, because I'm going to put magnets on them and switch them off on the same board that I finished them on, or tray, or whatever I put them on. And I don't know if you can see it, but here's the colors. So that will be fun, starting that tomorrow. I do have one new start. It's my kind of my New Year's due day start, but I start at the first day of my vacation because I have 2 weeks off from, I work at a school, so I have 2 weeks off at Christmas time. But that 2 weeks all happens, almost all of it, before January 1st. I have to be back to work on January 3rd. So my New Year, new start always starts the first day of vacation. So it's really my winter break new start. But I will talk more about that and show you that in my video that I'll do between Christmas and New Year's. Other than that, I told you what I'm kind of focusing on this month, trying to get some finishes done. And I will do a quick video right now where I show you all of this stuff that's back here for Christmas. And we'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye. Here are the ornaments that I have on my little ornament tree. Here's Kevin and I's stockings. If you'd like to see all of the stockings I did for my family with my kids showing them to you, go back to video number 6, I believe. They all have them at their homes now, so I don't have them here. They're from the Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine. They would do a new one every July, August issue back in the day. These are the Blackberry Lane ornaments. There are 3 of them. I've done 2 of them. It's like a full coverage Heaven and Earth design. It's got 80 colors, even for that tiny little thing. This is an Alessandra Adelaide pattern. This is the other Blackberry Lane ornament that I did. The third one that I haven't done yet is the Shepherds. This is the top part of a long band sampler by the Victoria Samplers. I just did the top part of it. This is a table runner that my aunt made, I believe. She served a church mission in Denmark in the 60s, in the 1960s. And I believe she also stitched this, brought it home from Denmark. This is Kringles, you remember from last year, by Little House Needleworks. These are some of my Christmas decorations. These are two of the, they're by Little House Needleworks. I can't remember, is it Home for Christmas series? I did them on perforated paper. I'm going to make them into ornaments. This is a Mill Hill ornament that I still need to cut out and glue to some felt and hang it up. That is a Foxwood Crossing? Fox, you all know, you're all telling me what it is. Sled design. And I think that's all. We'll see you later.